Hi guys, today we're gonna learn about functions. Now, in this video, I am going to talk about the definition, sets and why they're related to functions, types of relations, deriving a function, and the terms that you will need to memorize. The terms that you will need to memorize, they won't bring you a lot of marks. Usually it's just one, but it's important to know because these are very simple marks. Right, let's begin. Definition. This is a Wikipedia definition that I extracted online. What is a function? A function is a binary relation. Binary means two, so that means it's a relation between two things, right? Or over two sets. A binary relation over two sets that associates to every element of the first set. Exactly one element of the second set. Basically, what this means is we want to connect everything from the first set to one thing, to exactly one element of the second set. A simpler definition of this, a lot of people will tell you, is when you put an input, you would get only an output. Just one, not more than one. That's what a function is. Examples of functions, you can use f, g, or k, or a, whatever you want to notate these functions. Notate just means to name them. Right, so let's look at sets. A set is a group of numbers that may or may not have similar characteristics. Like for example, here I have two sets. On this first set, I have numbers 1, 2, 3. And on the second set, I have numbers 4, 5, and 6. Now, what I want to do is I want to start combining them. Right, I want to draw lines to connect them. I can see that 1 goes to 4. How can this number 1 go to set 4? We can say it's plus 3, but let's verify it using the second element. So number 2 brings us to number 5. We know that's a plus 3. And number 3, it brings us to 6, which is also plus 3. If I were to name these sets x and y, we know that from x, if we want to get to y, we have to plus 3. So our instruction is x plus 3. Whenever we want to get from x to y, our function is to get from x plus 3. That's how we get to y. We're looking at types of relations now. So I'm going to bring out these 4 different relations. Let's look at the first one. I can see up here 1 goes to 4, 2 goes to 5, and 3 goes to 6. This would be a 1-to-1 relation, because I can see that every element is only connected to 1. 1 connected to 1. If we were to look at this second relation, I can see that 1 is connected to 4 and 5. So this would be 1 to many. I can see this third relationship, both elements are going to one same number. So this would be many to 1. Now let's look at this final relation. This is a little confusing, but you just have to identify what's present. I can see 1 goes to 4 and 5, so that's going to be a 1 to many. And then what else can I see? I can see 1, 2, and 3 goes to 5, so that's going to be many to 1. So it's going to be a many to many relation. This is because we have a 1 to many and a many to 1 at the same time. But that's not the point. We're learning about relations because we want to be able to identify which is a function. Okay? So the function definition, the simple version, is whenever we have an input, we will always get an output. Just one output out of all that. So let's again look at these 4 sets. Let's talk about this first. This is when I put 1 and then I get something on the other end. Again, I'm going to put 2 and I get something, and I'm going to put 3 and I'm going to get something, right? So again, an input, 1, I get an output, just one output. So this is going to be a function. So 1 to 4, an input, an output, an input, an output, an input, an output. That means I put something in, I get something on the other end. So this is a function. What about this? 1 to 4, one input and one output. One input, and one output, even though both of them are going to the same number, but it still follows my rule. I put something in, I get something on the end. What about these? I put a 1, I get both a 4 and a 5. Instead of getting one output like I'm supposed to, I'm getting 2 here. So this is not a function. Likewise, this 1, the number 1 is going to both 4 and 5. The number 3 is going to both 5 and 6. So this is also not a function because I'm getting 2 things instead of my one output that I'm supposed to get. Alright, now let's go to a deriving function. I'm going to copy the same set here. We know that 1 goes to 4, 2 goes to 5, 3 goes to 6. In order to get this relationship, we know that every number here plus 3, that's how it takes us to the other side. So this is how we're going to derive our function. We're going to write fx equals to x plus 3. So I'm going to call this function, this x plus 3 function, an f. And I always write the set as x. So I'm going to write x here. That's why I have an x here. Alright, x is just a common term that we always use to explain functions. So we know that whatever's in x, I'm just going to plus 3. So the function is going to be fx x plus 3. If you don't want to call this a function f, you can also call it a function g. So instead of fx x plus 3, it's going to be gx x plus 3. Of course, you can call it many other names. Like I said, f and x are the more common ways we would call the function. So I have this highlighted for you. It's nothing special. Right, so these are the terms you need to memorize to ace this topic. Let's say I have this function, I modified a little. As you can see, 1 is connected to 4 still, 2 is connected to 5, but the 3 is gone, so that means nothing is connected to the 6. Now, these are the 5 terms you need to memorize. Let's start with object. An object is anything that's connected at the start, at the beginning, your input that's connected. The next thing, an image. An image is anything that's connected after you carry out that function, after you carry out that instruction. So it's going to be 4 and a 5. Your objects are going to be 1 and a 2. As you can see, these are the only things that's connected. The next term would be domain. Domain is everything on this set, whether it's connected or not. Codomain would be everything that's on this side, whether it's connected or not. As you can see, it's going to be a 4, 5, and 6, whereas your image is just 4 and a 5. Now, the second difference I want you guys to know is, hold on, before we do that. The second difference before we move on, I want you to know this, that object and image, the differences between the object image and the codomain and domain is that you have these special brackets enclosing these numbers. And these brackets are important. Whenever you're listing objects or images, you have to write them like that, just plainly, just numbers, you're just stating. But whenever the question asks you for a domain or a codomain, you need these special brackets that you see enclosing these numbers. Now, the final thing is called a range. The range is exactly the same as image, but the special thing is they have these special brackets. That's all. So you can take a screenshot or you can share this video, write this down somewhere. Objects, everything that's connected here. Image, everything that's connected here. Domain, everything, whether connected or not, here. Codomain, everything, whether connected or not, here. And then range, only the ones that's connected, but with brackets, special brackets. Right, so thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.